Why Leonard Nimoy was relieved when Star Trek got cancelled. The legendary Star Trek, a show that has become a cornerstone of pop culture, yet its journey to fame was anything but smooth. When it first aired from 1966 to 1968, it struggled to capture the hearts of a mainstream audience. But behind the scenes, a dedicated group of science fiction enthusiasts and dreamers began to rally around it, forming a passionate cult following. When CBS announced plans to cancel the series after its second season, fans sprang into action, launching a grassroots letter-writing campaign led by the tireless B. Joe and John Trimble. Their efforts paid off, and the show was saved, at least for a third season. However, that season didn't fare much better in terms of viewership, leading to the cancellation of Star Trek. After a total of 78 episodes, 79 if you count the two-part, The Menagerie. But here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. Thanks to a lucrative syndication deal, Star Trek found new life in reruns, and by the early 1970s, it had transformed from a niche sci-fi series into a cultural phenomenon. Fans began to connect, conventions sprang up, and creator Gene Roddenberry found himself engaging with a new wave of Trekkies. It's almost as if Roddenberry didn't fully grasp the utopian ideals of his own creation until he was out there on the convention circuit, soaking in the enthusiasm of the fans. Yet, while we can wax poetic about the hopeful future Star Trek promised, it's important to acknowledge that not every episode was a gem. Some, like Spock's Brain, The Way to Eden, and the infamous Turnabout Intruder, are often cited as among the worst in the series. And let's be honest, while the show aimed for peace and exploration, it didn't always hit the mark. Leonard Nimoy, the beloved actor who portrayed Spock, had a complicated relationship with the show's end. In a candid interview with the Television Academy, he revealed that he felt a sense of relief when Star Trek was cancelled. Why, you ask? Because he recognized that the quality of the writing had taken a nosedive. Nimoy expressed his mixed feelings, saying, "My concern always was the writing. The writing. It's always about the writing. The last year of Star Trek, the writing deteriorated badly. I was so glad when it was over. I really was unhappy in that final season. Sad? I was sad. Because I knew what it could be when it was well written and well produced, and it wasn't either of those two things." He even singled out the infamous Spock's Brain episode, where an alien race steals Spock's brain, leaving him alive but controlled by a remote device. It's a bizarre premise that left many fans scratching their heads. Nimoy pointed out that the new producers brought in for the third season didn't have the same passion or understanding of the show as the original team, leading to a decline in quality. The new producers didn't have a feeling for the show, he lamented, and therefore they couldn't transfer the proper feeling to the writers. And the material they were buying was not good Star Trek. Of course, it's worth noting that Season 3 did have its highlights, like the thought-provoking "Is there in truth no beauty?" But overall, it was clear that the budget was shrinking, and the scripts were faltering. While Star Trek ultimately found its place in history, it certainly had its share of struggles along the way. So, the next time you think about the legacy of this iconic series, remember that even the stars of the show had their doubts about its final chapters.